All right, y'all. Unit 1.1, test review. Let's get started. Okay, so it says things that you need to know that are not on the review. Variables. Variables are your letters. Okay, coefficient is your number in front of letters. Okay, so if we had like 3x squared, this would be your variable. This would be your coefficient. And this would be your exponent. Okay, remember the whole thing is a term. Okay, and then like terms and unlike terms. Remember, you can only combine like terms. So like terms are like 3x squared y plus 4x squared y. If you took off the coefficients, do they match? Yes. So those are like terms. Now if we had 3xy plus 4xyz, if I cross off, they do not match. This has xy, this has xyz, therefore those are unlike terms. Okay? So knowing that, let's actually get started. Okay, so if we are simplifying, simplifying means there is no equal sign. See how none of these have an equal sign? So you're not going to do anything opposite. Everything is exact. Combine your like terms, distribute if you need. So the first one, 2y minus 12y are like terms. If you struggle with negatives, you'll use your calculator. 2 minus 12 gives me negative 10. So I get negative 10y. And then I have 7 minus 5, which again, if you struggle, use your calculator. Get positive 2. So plus 2. There's my answer. Okay, here we have parentheses, therefore we have to distribute first. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Not to this, because this guy's not in the parentheses, so I'm just going to bring it down. Now I'm going to combine like terms. This is 5x. I don't have anything else with an x. This has no variable. This has no variable, so they're like terms, so I get 5x. Negative 10 plus 3. If negatives throw you off, negative 10 plus 3 gives you negative 7. So minus 7. Now, this next one, remember, you only distribute what's touching the parentheses. The 2 is not touching the parentheses. The negative is. So if you need to put a 1 and distribute. I'm going to bring down that 2 so I don't forget about it. That gives me negative 1 times 3x is negative 3x. Negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. Bring down my plus 4x. And now, just like the other two, I need to combine like terms. So negative 3x plus 4x just gives me x. And then 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay, so let's look at number 4. We're going to, again, distribute first. So we have negative 2 times 5y gives me negative 10y. Negative 2 times 7x is negative 14x. Now this is still in the parentheses, so we still need to distribute. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Now this has a y, this has an x, and this has nothing. None of them are the same. Therefore this is your answer. They cannot be combined. Sorry, that color is really light, but hopefully y'all see it. Okay, so let's get into our words. So this one says 5 less than double a number. If it's 5 less, it's not 5 minus, it's minus 5. Then double a number we don't know. Okay, so we're going to do 2x minus 5, or you could do negative 5 plus 2x. If you have either of those, they are correct. Now with this one I have 2 times. The sum, remember sum tells me to put parentheses and put a plus sign in the middle. A number and 3. So x, the number we don't know, and 3. So my answer is 2 parentheses x plus 3. Which if you were to simplify, if you don't, that's okay. If you were to simplify this one, 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 3 is 6. So this is your simplified answer. Okay, so let's look at 7 and 8. So 7 says add. Remember, order does not matter with addition. And you could technically use parentheses, but you don't need them because there's nothing in front of the first set of parentheses. And there's a plus in front of the second set of parentheses. Positive doesn't change anything, so we don't need it. So it's just 4x plus 2 plus 3x minus 2. So 4x plus 3x is 7x. Now 2 minus 2, well, those just cancel each other out and give you 0, so we get 7x. Now subtract is different. Order does matter, and it says from, so we're going to go backwards. So we're going to have 3x minus 2 minus 4x plus 2. Now, the reason I didn't put that first one in parentheses is because if I did put parentheses around it, is there anything in front? No. So you don't technically need that parentheses. So it's just 3x minus 2. Here we have to distribute our negative 1, so that gives me negative 4x minus 2. Now we'll combine our like terms. So 3x minus 4x is negative x. And negative 2 minus 2, again, if you struggle with that, negative 2 minus 2 is not 0. It is negative 4. Remember, to cancel, one has to be positive and one has to be negative, like on this one. You had a plus 2 and a minus 2. That's why they canceled. Okay, now we're moving, and I know this says solve. It should say simplify. Sorry about that. Okay, so look at 9, 10, and 11. Okay, so the first one says solve each equation. Make sure to check your solution. If the equation has an infinite or no solution, state that. So remember, infinite, we write IMS for infinitely many solutions, and no solution, you can do the fancy symbol. So here, we're going to draw a line and make sure both sides are simplified. Well, 3x cannot simplify, and 7x plus 20 cannot simplify. So I want all my x's on one side and all my numbers without x on the other. Here's a number without x. These both have x. So I'm going to move this one, because if I move the 3, which I know I like to move my smallest normally, but if I move it, then I have a 0 on the side and I have to move that, and it just adds more steps. So here, I have negative 4x equals 20. Now I should divide because this is multiply, and we do opposites to move it to the opposite side. So I get rid of negative 4, and I get x equals negative 5. Now you can check your work. On the test, it will tell you to check your work. Y'all, all I'm asking you to do, 3 parentheses negative 5, that's the left side, it gives me negative 15. And then this side, 7 times 3, negative 5, plus 20 should also equal negative 15, and it did. So negative 15 equals negative 15, there's my check. Okay, here, draw my line. First I need to simplify both sides. So 2 times 6x is 12x. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Then I'm going to bring down my 12x. 4 minus 6 is also negative 2. Right away, if you notice they match, you can tell me infinitely many solutions. Now if you don't notice, you would do minus 12x, minus 12x. They both zero out, and you get negative 2 equals negative 2. Not 12, sorry, 2, 2, 2, which is true. Negative 2 equals negative 2. Therefore, it is infinitely many solutions. Okay, and then lastly, on the front. Here, so we're going to simplify. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 2 is 6. Equals, here, 8x minus 5x is 3x. Plus 1. So again, move your x's. They both cancel, and I get 6 equals 1, which is false. So my answer is no solution. So now let's look at the back. Okay, on this one, we want a common denominator. We cannot cross multiply because we have two fractions equals a single fraction. So we want a common denominator. Always find your biggest denominator, which is 8. Can 4 turn into 8? Yes, by multiplying by 2. What I do the bottom, I have to do the top. That's what keeps it equal. And 1 can turn into 8 by multiplying by 8. So now they'll all be 8. So 3 times 2 is 6 over 4 times 2 is 8. Now, the reason we can do this is because 3 over 4 and 6 over 8 are the same fraction. This one's just not simplified. So we're unsimplifying, so that way they have a common denominator. 5 times 8 is 40, over 1 times 8 is 8. Now they all match, so if I were to multiply this whole thing by 8, we could cancel them, and we get 6 plus x equals 40. So minus 6, and I get x equals 34. Okay, so on this one, I want you to realize you have 3 terms. 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms. And they all have a decimal to the 100th place. So I can multiply this whole thing technically by 100, or as long as I move all the decimals at the same time. So I moved that twice and it became 3. So I can move this one twice and it became 5. And I moved this one twice, and it became 6. Then I'm equal, as long as I did it to all 3 terms the same times. And now I can solve. 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times 5 is 15, equals 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15, plus 6. So this side can still be simplified, so 5x, negative 15 plus 6 is 9, negative 9. Yep, negative 9. So I'm going to move my smallest x, which is 5. So minus 5x minus 5x. This cancels out, and I get x plus 15 equals negative 9. So now we do minus 15 minus 15. I get x equals, again, if you struggle, negative 9 minus 15 gives me negative 24. And again, just like I showed you on the front, you could still be checking your work. Okay, so let's do this one. Now this one, I can make this a fraction so they both have a fraction, or you could do it just like we did number 12. Either way, you're going to get the same thing. So I'm going to cross multiply. 3 times 1 is just 3. And 5x times 7 is 35x. And now I solve. So 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times negative x is negative 3x equals 35x. I'm going to add 3x to both sides to get all of my x's alone on the right side. I get 6 equals 38x. Now, I had a lot of people mess up here. I need to move the 38, not the 6. The 6 doesn't have the x, the 38 does. I need to get that 38 to go away. So that cancels, and I get this. Now, that is not simplified. If you struggle with simplifying, alpha, y equals, enter, 6 over 38. So I get x equals 3 over 19. Number 15 says, after solving an equation, you get, so like doing what we just did, you get 0 equals 6. Well, you have no variable left, so right away it's false. So what does that tell you about the solution set? It tells you that there's no solution. Okay, my next set of instructions says, write the equation from the following word problems and solve if possible. So this one says, the sum of 3 odd integers, this should say, sorry, this is my fault, consecutive odd integers, my bad, is 171. Okay, 3 odd integers, consecutive. Well, remember, odd numbers are 2 apart. Because if this was 1, 3 would be the next one, and 5 would be the next one. 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5. So it's adding 2 to get to the next number. So my first unknown is always x. So x plus 2, well that doesn't simplify, so it's just x plus 2. And I have x plus 2, which is x plus 4. And I know that the sum of those is going to equal 171. Well, sum just means add. So x plus 2 plus x plus 4 equals 171. And I need to combine my terms. So x plus x is 2x plus x is 3x. And then 2 plus 4 is 6. So I'm going to do minus 6, and I get 3x equals, I think it's 165. Yes. Divide by 3. And I should get an odd number, and I do. So x equals 55. But that's not the answer. Remember, you always have to go back and read the last statement. Find the 3 integers. Well, x is 55, so my first integer is 55. 55 plus 2 is 57. And 55 plus 4 is 59. Okay, last one. It says a triangular garden has a perimeter of 47 feet. So I know I'm going to have a triangular garden, and my perimeter is 47 feet. One side is 3 feet longer than the shortest side. Well, I don't know the shortest side, so we can say the shortest side is x. And 3 feet longer would be plus, so x plus 3. While the other side is twice as long as the shortest side. Well, twice means 2 times, so 2 times x. And we don't know anything about the shortest side, so it's just x. Find the length of the shortest side. Well, if my perimeter is 47, and we find perimeter by adding all the sides, so x plus 3 plus 2x. And now let's solve. So 47 equals 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4x. Now 3 has no like term, so I'm just going to bring it down. So minus 3, and I get 44 equals 4x. Now I'm going to divide by 4, and I get x equals 11. Now it says find the length of the shortest side, not the longest side, not the middle side, not anything else, the shortest side. Well, we used x to represent the shortest side, so 11 feet is my answer.